In this video, we illustrate the comparative cost of Solvency II requirements, that is, technical provisions plus SCR, and compare them to the current requirements of booking undiscounted reserves. And we've got the two results here that we have in the windows for the aggregate of the 6 LOBs we looked at previously, and in the window on the right, we've got the results just for LOB4. Now, for the undiscounted reserves, we're looking at, if we go to the metrics tab, we're looking at a figure of 697 million, and we compare that to our figure of technical provisions plus SCR is 691 million. So the difference on is a relatively low percentage. And why do these figures end up being the same? Well, one reason is the fact that the delta TP and VAR for the next year is about the same as the difference between the undiscounted BEL and the discounted BEL. And obviously you're adding MVM into your technical provisions as well. So as a percentage of undiscounted BEL and discounted BEL, MVM plus SCR is a relatively low percentage that you're adding on. And as I said, that corresponds roughly to the percentage that you would get from discounting. Now, this isn't the same for LOB4. And if we just look at these percentages, we can see that we get significant percentages coming out of the percentage of discounted BEL that we're adding on. And if we compare the figures, we've got 107 million here, and our undiscounted BEL, if we jump to the metrics tab, is 78 million. Well, why does this arise? Well, this difference between the two figures of our undiscounted BEL and our technical provisions plus SCR is driven by the correlation between the calendar years. Now, where does this occur? It occurs principally in the delta TP. So if we're looking at the SCR, so SCR is 46 million that we're adding on. Nearly 96% of that is taken from delta TP. Well, delta TP is needed if the first year is in distress in order to restore the balance sheet in the subsequent years. And if we look at the charts for a second, we can see that the difference between these two graphs is that the unconditional, so that is the result not being in distress and the result being in distress, is actually quite high. So I'll just change the scale to be roughly the same. I'll make it 10,000 on the top there, so we can compare the figures more easily. There we go. So we can see that the difference between the unconditional BEL for the next year, sorry, it's this year that I'm looking at, 2011, with this one, is substantially more capital is needed just to get the mean. And as I said earlier, the reason for that is the correlation between the years. So once one year is in distress, we expect the subsequent years to also be higher as well. So we need more capital in order to restore the balance sheet. So in conclusion then, if we're comparing these two results, we see that the Solvency II capital requirements, we don't expect to impose a significant penalty on insurers or reinsurers with good diversification between LOBs, even when highly volatile lines are written as part of their portfolio. So remembering we're including LOB4 in the aggregate of these 6 LOBs. But companies writing correlated volatile lines will incur risk charges corresponding to the risk taken. So if you're writing lines that are very similar to LOB4 in a lot of them, you won't necessarily get the same amount of diversification credit, but you will end up with a fair valuation of your liabilities.